Solving linear equations is very important in algebra. That's why we're going over these same 4 steps several times, and your problems will get more complicated. So you can expect to go through these same 4 steps sometimes multiple times in working the problem. Let's see where we go. We're not doing anything that we haven't practiced before. We just might be doing it more times. So let's look at example number 1. Where are we in this problem? Do we need to simplify on each side? Well, no, we don't have like terms. They're unlike terms on each side, so we can skip step 1. But we do need to get the variable terms to the same side, and I'm going to work with the side that has the smaller variable. In other words, 7x is smaller than 8x. I'll take it and subtract 7x from both sides, and that, by the way, is step number 2. What I end up with is negative 1 is equal to 1x, or just x, plus 4. Now, isolate the variable term. That's step 3. I'm going to get rid of this plus 4 by subtracting it from both sides. I end up on the right with just plain old x. On the left, I have negative 1 minus 4, negative 5. And that is the end. That's my answer. Example number 2. No simplification to be done. Once again, I need to get the variable terms to the same side, so I have to begin with step 2. I'm going to work with the smaller variable, the 2x. I'll subtract it from both sides, and like we said before, if you choose the wrong side, if you did work with the 5x, you would be okay. You would just need to make sure that you divided by a negative coefficient when you finished, and that would still work. When I do this, I say 5x minus 2x gives me a 3x minus 3 on the left. And on the right, the terms in front cancel. Don't forget the negative in front of the 18. Now I need to isolate the variable term. I need to get rid of that negative 3. That's step 3 in solving. I'll add 3 to both sides to get rid of the negative 3. That gives me a 3x, and it's equal to negative 18 plus 3, which is negative 15. Finally, step 4, divide by the coefficient of x. 3 divided by 3 gives me a 1x. Negative 15 divided by 3 gives me a negative 5. My answer, x is equal to negative 5. Example 3. I've got variables on both sides, so I know I have to begin with step number 2. I want to work with the smaller number of variable, and here's where you might mess up, because look, I have a negative 7m and a negative 3m. Which one is smaller? Well, when they're both negative, the larger number is the smallest. If you missed that and you work with the other side, you'd be okay. You just end up dividing by a negative coefficient. So let's do that and pretend we sort of messed that up. Let's say that we thought negative 3m was smaller. It's not, but we'll just add 3m to both sides, just to show you that it will work if you pick the wrong side. And so what I have on the left is 4 minus 4m, and that's equal to just a positive 4. Well, now I need to isolate this negative 4m. I've got to get rid of the 4 that's in front of it. And a lot of times we're going to look and say, well, I've got to subtract 4. It's not the sign that follows it that we need to pay attention to. It's the sign in front. When there is no sign, it's a positive. So I'm going to have to subtract 4 from both sides. Now, when I do that, these cancel. Remember, the negative that's in front of the 4m, though, still stayed there. What comes next? 4 minus 4 ends up being a 0. And finally, step number 4, divide by the coefficient of m, which is a negative 4. And I end up with m is equal to 0 divided by negative 4, an okay thing to do. Our 0 is our answer. Example number 4, let's start out with step number 1. Let's simplify on both sides. I need to combine this 2x and 3x for 5x plus 10 equals, and on the right I need to combine a negative 12 and a negative 20. It's going to be a negative 32 minus x. Next, I need to get the variables on the same side. That's step number 2. Which one is smaller? Well, a negative x, which is really a negative 1x, right? So I'll add 1x to both sides. That gives me 6x plus 10. and it's still equal to negative 32 on the right. Now I need to isolate that variable term. Step number 3, I'm going to have to get rid of this positive 10 by subtracting it. I'll say 10 minus 10 over here is just 0, so I've got 6x. And on the right, negative 32 minus 10, negative 42. And finally, step 4, I'll divide by 6, the coefficient of my variable term. When I do that, I have x is equal to negative 42 divided by 6, or negative 7. This is the first problem that we worked that's gone through all 4 steps of solving an equation in order. Problem number 5, we need to simplify on both sides. 22 minus 42 can both be combined. 22 minus 42 is a negative 20. On the right-hand side, we have to distribute multiplication. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Now, we need to isolate this variable term, which is step 3. Get rid of anything that's added or subtracted to it. We're going to say positive 4 to get rid of a negative 4, or add 4 to both sides. And that will give us 4x on the right and negative 16 on the left, negative 20 plus 4. Finally, we'll do step 4. We'll divide by the coefficient of the x term, and we'll see that x is equal to negative 16 divided by 4, which is negative 4. Example number 6, let's start with step 1. Let's distribute multiplication on the right, on the left. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 8 is we just bring down that plus 8. And on the right, we have nothing. We just have 0. So we just have to keep it. Next, we got to do step 1 again. We need to combine like terms. So what do we have? We have 2x. When we add 10 and 8, we get 18, and that's equal to 0. We're finally ready for a new step. We're going to go to step 3. We're going to get rid of this plus 18 that's added to our variable term by subtracting 18 from both sides. That gives us 2x is equal to 0 minus 18, which is negative 18. And finally, step 4, divide by the coefficient of the variable. We'll divide both sides by 2. We'll have x is equal to negative 18 divided by 2, which is a negative 9. And there's our answer. Example number 4, we've got some work to do on both sides, on the left side of this equation at least. Let's distribute multiplication. Step number 1 is where we are. 4 times 3t is going to give us 12t. 4 times 4 is going to give us a positive 16. We're still just going to bring down our minus 20. And on the right, we do not have like terms, so we just bring them down. We still have to go through step 1 again. On the left, we've got a 16, a positive 16, negative 20 that can be combined. So we'll say 12t, and 16 minus 20 is minus 4, is equal to 3 plus 5t. We're finally ready to go to a new step. Number 2, let's get our variable terms together. The smaller variable we have 12t on the left, 5t on the right. Let's work with the 5t. It's the smallest. It's a positive 5t, so we have to subtract 5t to get rid of it. And on the left, we say 12t minus 5t is 7t. Bring down our negative 4. That's equal to 3, and the t's will cancel. Now I want to isolate this t variable term, so I'm going to do step 3. I'm going to add 4 to both sides to get rid of the 4 that was subtracted. The opposite operation is what I always have to do here. This will give me 7t, and it will be equal to 3 plus 4, or 7. My final step, 4. Divide by the coefficient of the variable term. I'm running out of room, but I think you can see it. T is going to equal to 7 divided by 7, or 1. Our answer is going to be t equals 1.